So you want to improve your memory for 2025. How do you do it? Well, here are some tips for you. Let's go through them. Now, the first one, what I suggest you do is start reading. Now, that's not going to make much more sense to you, but if I explain to you that reading is really about visualizing the words or the context, right? Generally, when we read, what happens is that we're reading the words, we're just looking at the words and we're moving along. Then we realize, hang on, something didn't make sense. So we go back and reread, right? We keep rereading, we don't even notice it, right? So the trick is, how can you visualize as you read? Now, how does this improve your memory? By creating visual imagery. That's how memory works. If you create stories, create images, that's what's going to connect. So that's one way of doing it. The other way of improving your memory is obviously learn some memory techniques, right? If you learn the major system, you're not just going to learn to memorize numbers, right? You're going to learn how numbers connect as images, right? It's called encoding. So if you work on encoding, what that's going to do is next time you want to remember something, it's going to be processed a lot faster in your brain than it is originally. Now, that's not going to happen overnight, but if you keep training it, then the processing speed will get better. So that's a major system, right? And if you don't know what I'm talking about, just do a search on my channel for the major system, because I run through how to use it and learn it as well. So that's another way. Another technique you can use is the memory palace, right? Everyone's heard of the memory palace. Well, most people have anyway. It's also called the method of loci, the journey technique. And how that works is essentially establishing set points that are in order, and what you do is you memorize stuff on there. So for example, I've got like 60 set points around my house, and I start from the front of my house, I move into, from the front door, I go into the living room, to the bedroom, and so on. And I have a familiar path, like I might have the TV in the living room, then I might have a couch, I might have a painting, and I go through in order. And then what I do is I connect pieces to be remembered onto those things. So if I got to remember, say, my wallet, right? I could throw my wallet on the TV, right? I'm angry at something, I'll throw the wallet on the TV. Not the case usually, but you know what I mean, right? So once I do that and then connect for each one, you're going to get better at not just recalling, but understanding how connection works, because that's really memory. It's about understanding, not so much knowing the knowledge, because you can learn the knowledge, right? And then not know how to do it. So, which is why I do a ton of coaching, right? Because a lot of people have read my books and they've done courses and whatnot, but they just don't know how to implement these skills. So what I suggest you do is just train and practice and understand how they work, because once you do that, so much easier as well, right? The other way you can improve memory for 2025 is ask a lot of questions, right? Comment down below, right? Your questions. There's not just me, there's tons of memory experts and athletes and things like that. So go to them, right? Come to us and we will answer your questions, right? Obviously, some are going to be more accessible than others. I try and be accessible as much as I can, especially here on YouTube or on my website. I also have free memory lessons on my website as well. So, there you go. Like my best lessons, major system, the journey technique, memory palace, they're all on there and it's free. So go and, read them, learn them, and then practice, because that's the real skill you're going to get. And then finally, what I suggest you do, and this is going to be counterintuitive in some ways, is just rest your brain and do nothing, right? Doing nothing helps calm you down as well. Now, a lot of people can't do this. Why? Because as soon as they get bored, you reach for your phone, right? You don't want to do that. It's hard. I know it's very hard. But if you take time to be mindful that you're either going to get bored or you got nothing to do, sit with that boredom. Because what's going to happen is your mind's either going to start racing or you start thinking of thoughts and so on, right? And you need to play with those thoughts. I used to have a client and he couldn't sit down for 3 seconds, right? Without going back to his phone or anything like that. And then working with him, he ended up doing 45 minutes sitting down doing nothing, right? And he said it was like the greatest thing ever for him, because it kept him mindful. It got him more concentrated throughout the day because he was more mindful of what's going on. And also, he was relaxed, more relaxed, right? So it's almost like meditation. And in fact, that's another one. If you can meditate, great. So there you go. So there's some of the tips for 2025. Definitely jump on my website. I'll put the link down below, tantalali.com. Free lessons, man. Come on. What else could you want? Ask me any questions you got, comment down below, and I'll see you in the next video. Cheers.